Hey, Pastor Josh here. We're reading Genesis chapter 21, verses 1 through 7. Very good news today. Abraham and Sarah have the promised child. They have Isaac. Isaac is born. So the Lord visited Sarah as he had said. There you see promises being fulfilled. The Lord is not slack concerning his promises. He does not renege on his promises. He follows through every single time. Even when it seems like he's not following through, he's not giving us what he promised he would. Perhaps he's not doing it in the way, or it's not taking the particular form that we would want it to take. God does keep his promises every single time. And we see this with Abraham and Sarah. The Lord visited Sarah as he had said. I think of, even as I'm talking about and thinking about Sarah, I think of the Lazarus story, in that even though Lazarus died and Jesus was 4 days late, he had been dead for 4 days. Jesus was actually, as the gospel song, if you know, he was still right on time. He showed up at the exact right time. Even though he was 4 days late, even though Lazarus had already died, Jesus actually showed up right on time because he rose Lazarus from the dead. And even though, as far as Sarah and Abraham are concerned, the Lord may be terribly late in giving them the child that he had promised to, but no. He's actually right on time, doing it at the exact time that he intended and purposed. So the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did to Sarah as he had promised. And Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age. And that's an attitude we need to adopt, we need to get in our mind, is that it does not matter what your circumstances are. If the Lord has promised it, if he has called you to it, he will equip you for it and give you whatever you need for the task that he calls to you. So even though he's old, he still follows through. He still equips Abraham and Sarah to be the parents of this child, even in their old age. At the time of which God had spoken to him, he said, Isaac came exactly at the time that God said he would. Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him, whom Sarah born him, Isaac. Remember, that name Isaac means laughter. Abraham laughed and Sarah laughed. That's what the word Isaac means, is laughter. And they had Isaac, and Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as the Lord had commanded him. So here we see an example for us to follow. Abraham obeyed the Lord. He did what he was supposed to do. He followed this rite of circumcision. He would have been the first one probably to do this at the 8-day mark. Isaac would have probably been the first one to receive this mark. We know that everybody else was circumcised when God commanded them to. So now we see the mark of the covenant being put on Isaac, and he is obedient to him, or to the Lord. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him, and Sarah said, God has made laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh over me. And this is a good laughter. This is joyful laughter. You can even hear them taking their original unbelief in that God would actually give them a child and say, gosh, we're just so full of joy. They will laugh over us, everybody that sees us. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children, yet I have borne him a son in his old age? You just see the happiness coming from Sarah. The Lord was faithful to do what he said at the time that he was faithful to do that. And I want to encourage you, don't give up on the Lord. He's going to come through for you. He will fulfill the promise. Now, we've got to admit, it won't necessarily be in the way that we have perceived. The promise will be fulfilled, but the Lord will keep his promises. He always does. And when he does, you'll know it, and you'll be so thankful, so happy about it. Pray that has been a blessing to you all, and I'll see you in the next video.